Almost a week later, I've got my review for Young Sherlock, the newest Guy Ritchie project, which is a show taking on the world's most famous detective, his first case, and kind of building the lore. Guy Ritchie has done the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. I think that Sherlock Holmes is a really great character. I really like those movies. Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch is one of my favorite shows. I think that Enola Holmes is pretty fun. So going into this, before the trailer, I was like, okay, cool. That sounds interesting. A show about young Sherlock, all that. Sounds really great. I watched the trailer, and I was like, oh boy. I did not like the trailer at all. So I went into this expecting, you know what? It's going to be a fun show, but I'm not expecting it to be anything like really great. And I would say for the first 3 episodes, I kind of stuck in that mindset where first 3 episodes, I mean, they're really good. I like the characters and everything, but they're not really sticking out, and they're not really my favorites. And then episode 4 hit, and that's when the family started getting included. You get Sherlock's mom coming into the fold, like, for a big part. You've got the Beatrice plotline kind of starting fully. And around then, I was just like, okay, it's starting to ramp up. And then just from then on, it was amazing. I really like the show, and I'm so happy that I do. As of right now, which in a couple of weeks it won't be, but as of right now, it is my favorite show of the year so far. And I thought it was extremely well done. I love Sherlock Holmes, as I said, and I really like seeing new adaptations of the famous detective. It kind of sucks that he hasn't had one in a little while, besides like Enola Holmes, but that's more Enola and not Sherlock. So seeing this, it was really good. I hope this goes on for a lot more seasons. There's a lot more you can do. Obviously, this is the origin, so you've got a bunch of other mysteries. Obviously, Moriarty, you can do a lot more with him. You have to introduce Dr. Watson and all that. But I think that the guy who plays Sherlock, I think his name's like Hero. He was really good as Sherlock. I didn't know what to expect from him, and I thought he did really, really well. I think that obviously he's my favorite character, but I would say that the most interesting was Moriarty. And just the way that they show where he is friends with Sherlock, you can tell that he does care about him in like a friend should. But you can also see where the evil is, and he's just having a little bit more fun with some of these things than Sherlock is. He is there for the ride. There's a moment where he does shoot someone, and you can just see it on his face in the moment where instead of like, oh my god, I just shot someone, you can like kind of see him like happy about it. And then like towards the end of the show, and like the final scene mostly, is when you get Moriarty kind of dealing like the Moriarty that you're used to. I think that season 2, they will probably have him still be somewhat a good guy, but by the end of season 2, I don't think they're going to wait until after. By the end of season 2, he will be evil, and he won't be gone in season 2 because it's Moriarty. They're going to like build up to him, and he's probably going to be like the final problem. But I do see by the end of season 2 him just like going off and being the Moriarty that we do know. But I think my favorite part of the show was probably the family aspect. You get Sherlock, Mycroft, you get the mom and dad, which I'm happy that the mom and dad were included, because up until now, they haven't really been included in everything. I don't think they were in the Robert Downey Jr. ones. They were barely in the Sherlock show, and when they were in that, they were basically just normal people. In Enola Holmes, it's the mom. You don't really get anything of the dad. And then I don't think in anything else they're there. But I thought that they did pretty good with them in this. It kind of sucks that the dad ended up being what he was. I would have liked it a little bit more, but I don't think we're gonna get that. I thought the mom was pretty good, and just like her wanting to be included on the adventure was pretty cool. The whole plot line surrounding Beatrice, who is the sister, who I think is supposed to be Enola, or I think it's like in the Sherlock show it's something different. I think it's like Eurus or something in the Sherlock show, but in this it's Beatrice. I thought that her whole plot line was one of my favorites, and just like all that little mysteries and everything you get with that, I thought was really good. And then obviously Mycroft is in this. He isn't as big of a part as you would like. He's in the first couple episodes, and then for the next couple, he's either just not in them or he's like a couple scenes here and there. And then towards the end, he does become a bigger part. I really like him and Sherlock's dynamic, and I think that this one might be my favorite dynamic of theirs. I do like the Sherlock one, but I think that this one might be it, where they're acting kind of like Sherlock, where they're kind of being somewhat rude to each other. But at the same time, they also, like, you could tell that they do care about each other. Like, whereas in the Sherlock show, like, by the end, obviously, it's clear that they do care about each other. And maybe by the end of the Sherlock show, like, season 4 and stuff, that might be my favorite, like, Mycroft-Sherlock dynamic. But as a whole, like, I think that this one might be the best, because it takes a little bit in the Sherlock show for them to actually warm up to that. Whereas in this one, they are just kind of like that, where it's like, yeah, they're being kind of antagonistic towards each other, but at the same time, they do care. And I really like that. I hope Mycroft's a little bit of a bigger part in the coming seasons. I do hope that Watson does show up soon, because it would just be cool to see, like, full-on Sherlock. But I can see Watson getting held towards the end of season 2, maybe season 3. I'm going to have a problem with that, though. I would just like to see him show up. I would like Sherlock to don, like, the Sherlock hat, because that's pretty cool, and the magnifying glass. I hope the show goes on for a while, because I would like to see it get to a point where it's like the Sherlock we know. He's doing all these cases. He's, like, the world's smartest detective. In this, you can tell he's smart, but since it's an origin, he is messing up a little bit more. He's not, like, getting all the clues like you would think, which I really like that decision, showing that he is a more experienced one. But I would like to see this version grow into the Sherlock that we know, so I would like this show to go on for a good while. And it being Sherlock, I think that this show could do, like, 6 to 8 seasons. Like, I can generally see 6 to 8 seasons at least, where you just build up to him being Sherlock. You get a couple seasons of him being, like, the older Sherlock with Watson and everything, and then the final season being him versus Moriarty. Maybe the final episode's titled The Final Problem, as it should, and then either end it like the Robert Downey Jr. movies, where he either fakes his death and is still alive, or he dies. I would like it not to happen, like, where he dies, because, I mean, I like Sherlock, but, real quick, I hope that they make Sherlock Holmes 3 with Robert Downey Jr., because those first 2 movies are really good, and obviously the second one leaves off on, like, a type of cliffhanger. I would like to see a third one, but back to the show. I think that they could do that, like, 8 seasons like that, maybe even a little bit more. I mean, Supernatural went on for, like, 16 or so seasons, I think, so Sherlock, there shouldn't be any reason why it shouldn't, and I would like a season a year. That would be kind of cool if they could do that. I don't think that they've been renewed for a season 2 yet, but I hope they do get to a season 2. And obviously it's directed or, like, created by Guy Ritchie, so it's got that Guy Ritchie stuff in there, like the music, the quick editing, all that. I haven't seen as much Guy Ritchie stuff. I've seen the Sherlock movies, I've seen the Ministry of Unregimented Warfare, and I saw Fountain of Youth. Watching this, I've enjoyed every project of his. And then watching this, I'm just like, yeah, I kind of want to watch all the Guy Ritchie movies, just see if, like, just because they all look somewhat interesting. Well, there might be 1 or 2 that I'm like, meh. But most of the part, they all look interesting, so I'm going to try and do that before. I think he has 2 movies coming out this year. He's got one in May with Henry Cavill, and then I think he's got one later. So I'll see when I can catch up, but who knows. But yeah, Young Sherlock was great. Probably my favorite Guy Ritchie, like, thing. Not better than the Sherlock show. I think that Sherlock, a Game of Shadows, the second Robert Downey Jr. one, I think it's Game of Shadows. I could be wrong. I could be misremembering, but I think it's Game of Shadows. I might like that also a little bit more than this, but this is like a really good show. Can't wait to see more. And I thought that the real heart of it was Sherlock's family. So I hope to see more of the brother. I hope to see more of the mom. I hope to see more of the sister. Maybe see more of the dad. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed this show. And I would like to see more Sherlock. So if you saw it, tell me what you thought in the comments. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend giving it a shot. Tomorrow, I will have a ranking of all the versions of Sherlock that I have seen ranked, because I'm in a Sherlock mood and I kind of want to talk about Sherlock. So I will have a ranking of all 6, I think. So I'm excited to do that. And until then, thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.